Discipline isn't something you do. It's something you become. While the world is sleeping, weak men are dreaming, but warriors are working. You don't need motivation. You need control. Every second you waste in comfort, someone else is out there earning your future. Discipline is the difference between who you are and who you could have been. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. Get up, lock in, dominate. Motivation is weak because it depends on how you feel, but discipline doesn't care about feelings. Discipline doesn't wait for the perfect moment, it creates it. Most people wake up hoping they'll feel like doing the work, and when that feeling doesn't come, they quit. That's why the majority stay average. They live in a loop of inconsistency, starting strong, fading fast, and blaming the world for what they never built. The truth is simple. The man who acts without emotion will always destroy the one who acts on motivation. Discipline is the weapon of the strong, and motivation is the excuse of the weak. When you understand that feelings are irrelevant, you become unstoppable. You can't rely on excitement because excitement fades. You can't rely on inspiration because it disappears when life hits you. But discipline is the muscle that grows every time you push through pain. Every time you do the work when no one is watching, every time you say no to comfort. It's not sexy, it's not easy, but it's real. Motivation will get you started. Discipline will make sure you never stop. Discipline is built in silence. It's the early mornings when no one knows you're grinding. It's the nights you're working while everyone else is partying. It's the sacrifices no one will ever see. That's the price of greatness. Motivation wants to feel good. Discipline wants results. The truth is, most people will never understand this because they've been trained to chase temporary highs instead of permanent change. They look for motivation like a drug, watching videos, reading quotes, trying to feel that spark. But real men, real warriors, they don't chase sparks. They build fire within themselves that never dies. The world respects consistency. You can talk all day about your dreams, but if you can't show up daily, you're not serious. Discipline means you show up even when you're tired, even when it's raining, even when nobody believes in you. That's what separates the winners from the watchers. Discipline means doing it because it must be done, not because you feel like it. Once you understand that emotions are a trap, your life changes completely. Every day you train your discipline, you train your power. People admire success, but they never see the discipline behind it. They see the car, the money, the fame, but not the years of silent sacrifice. They don't see the battles fought in private, the early mornings, the rejections, the doubt, the grind. That's what discipline looks like. Discipline is the voice in your head that says, get up, keep moving, don't quit. And the man who listens to that voice every day becomes unstoppable because discipline doesn't ask permission. It doesn't negotiate. It commands. When you're disciplined, you don't need to be motivated. You do it anyway. You train when it hurts. You work when you're tired. You push when everyone else stops. That's the mindset of a conqueror. Motivation fades when life gets hard. Discipline grows stronger. The man who controls himself can't be broken by the world. That's the truth. You either master discipline or you stay a slave to your emotions. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for motivation. It's never coming. Every second you waste waiting for the right moment, someone else is already doing what you won't. Discipline is the difference between talking about success and living it. If you want power, build discipline. If you want freedom, live with discipline. Because in the end, motivation will fail you, but discipline never will. Excuses are the comfort of weak men. Every time you open your mouth to explain why you didn't do something, you admit that your feelings control you. Excuses are poison disguised as logic. They sound reasonable, but they destroy your growth silently. People will say they're tired, busy, unlucky, or not ready, as if life owes them a perfect moment. But winners know life will never be perfect. You either adapt or you stay behind. Every excuse you make builds a wall between you and the life you want, and one day, that wall becomes so high you can't see the other side anymore. That's how average men die, trapped behind excuses they built themselves. Discipline doesn't negotiate with weakness. When you're disciplined, there's no room for excuses. You don't need to justify your failures because you don't accept them. Excuses are easy. Progress isn't. That's why most people choose the path of comfort instead of commitment. They convince themselves that tomorrow will be better, that next week they'll start, that circumstances will change. But tomorrow is a lie. The only real moment you have is now. Every second you delay, you're giving away your power. You're handing your potential to laziness, fear, and doubt, and those enemies never give it back. The truth is, every man has a choice. You can either find reasons to move forward or reasons to stay stuck. You can either blame the world or build yourself. You can talk about why it's hard, or you can show the world how you overcome it. Excuses feel safe because they protect your ego, but they destroy your life. They allow you to stay weak and feel okay about it. That's why discipline is rare, because it demands you face yourself without lies. It demands honesty. It demands ownership, and most people aren't ready for that kind of truth. You can't lie to yourself and win. The world doesn't care about your excuses. Success doesn't care about your feelings. Results don't come to people who talk. They come to people who act. Every great man you admire had every reason to quit, but he didn't. He didn't need perfect conditions. He didn't wait for the right time. He acted through chaos, pain, and fear. That's what separates leaders from losers. If you want to rise, you have to destroy the excuses that keep you comfortable. The most dangerous excuse is, I'll start tomorrow. It sounds harmless, but it's a trap. Tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year, and next year becomes never. You waste your life planning instead of doing. Progress doesn't come from planning, it comes from execution. The man who acts imperfectly beats the man who waits perfectly. Life rewards movement, not intention. Every time you push past your excuses, you gain strength. Every time you give in to them, you lose it. Discipline grows when you say, I'll do it anyway, even when everything in you screams not to. Look around you. Most people live average lives because they've mastered the art of excuses. They tell you they can't because of time, money, family, stress, or fear. But the truth is, they don't want it bad enough, because when you truly want something, you find a way. Excuses don't exist when your hunger is real. You can't be both comfortable and great. You can't chase success and hold on to your excuses. You have to choose one. The day you stop making excuses, your entire life changes. You stop waiting for luck and start creating it. You stop blaming others and start building yourself. Excuses are the chains that hold you down. Discipline is the key that breaks them. Every time you say, no excuses, you take another step toward freedom. Weak men justify, strong men act. And in the end, the world only remembers the ones who acted. Everyone wants results, but nobody wants repetition. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's the foundation of greatness. You don't become powerful by doing something once. You become powerful by doing it every single day, even when it's boring, even when it's painful, even when nobody is watching. That's what separates men who dream from men who achieve. Discipline creates consistency, and consistency creates unstoppable strength. Every time you show up, even when it's hard, you're building something inside yourself that no one can take away. Most people fail not because they're weak, but because they're inconsistent. They start with fire and end with excuses. They chase motivation instead of mastery. They want quick results, fast fame, instant validation. But real growth doesn't work that way. Real strength is built slowly in silence through repetition. Every day you show up, you reinforce your identity as a winner. Every rep, every task, every effort adds a brick to the fortress of your character. And one day, the world will look at you and call you lucky, not realizing you earned it brick by brick, day by day, while they were still talking about what they planned to do. Consistency is the ultimate weapon. It's not about intensity for one day. It's about persistence for years. You can't expect to rise by being on and off, focused one day and lazy the next. Life rewards those who refuse to break their rhythm. The gym, the grind, the business, the hustle. It all runs on consistency. You can't outsmart effort. You can't replace repetition. You can't fake discipline. Consistency is a reflection of your standards. If you show up only when you feel like it, your results will show the same weakness. But when you show up regardless, life starts to bend in your favor. The truth is, consistency tests your patience. It's not exciting to wake up early every day, to work when you're tired, to grind while others relax. It's not meant to be exciting. It's meant to build you. Every time you stick to your plan, even when it's uncomfortable, you're sending a message to your subconscious. I'm in control. That's where strength comes from, not from what you do once, but from what you do repeatedly until it becomes who you are. Weak men wait for motivation. Strong men rely on consistency. People talk about success like it's magic. It's not magic. It's math. You put in effort every day and eventually the results compound. It's like interest on your habits. The more consistent you are, the greater the return. The reason so many quit is because they expect instant reward. They can't handle delayed gratification. They don't realize that every day they skip, every shortcut they take, is a day they lose momentum. And momentum is everything. Once you lose it, getting it back becomes twice as hard. Consistency keeps momentum alive. It's what keeps you climbing when progress feels invisible. You have to fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. The process is where you grow. The process is where the transformation happens. Every time you keep going when others stop, you're sharpening your mind, hardening your spirit, and preparing yourself for anything life throws at you. Consistency isn't about working hard for a week. It's about outlasting everyone who quits. That's how empires are built. Not through emotion, but through endurance. When you're consistent, you stop depending on motivation. You stop doubting yourself. You stop fearing failure because you know who you are. A man who shows up, a man who keeps his word, a man who follows through. That kind of strength can't be faked. It's earned. And once you've earned it, no one can take it away. The secret is simple. Stay consistent long enough and you'll become unstoppable. The world bows to those who never stop moving forward. Comfort is the slowest form of death. It kills ambition, it weakens the mind, and it turns lions into sheep. The world is full of people who could have been great, but chose comfort instead. They traded their potential for pleasure, their future for ease, and their dreams for distractions. Every time you choose comfort, you choose weakness. You choose to stay the same when you could have become more. Comfort doesn't just make you lazy. It makes you forget what it feels like to fight. The truth is, growth only happens in discomfort. Strength is born in struggle. Confidence is built in chaos. Discipline thrives where comfort dies. When you push yourself into uncomfortable situations, waking up early, working when you're tired, training when it hurts, saying no when you want to say yes, you're not punishing yourself, you're programming yourself for greatness. Weak men chase comfort because they fear effort. Strong men chase discomfort because they crave progress. You can't build an empire from your comfort zone. You build it in the war zone of resistance. Look around. Comfort is everywhere. Your phone gives you entertainment on demand. Your bed keeps you soft. Your excuses keep you safe. Society has built a system to make you comfortable and weak. It sells you the illusion that you're living when in reality, you're decaying slowly behind screens, scrolling through other people's achievements. Real men don't chase pleasure. They chase purpose. They understand that comfort is a trap designed to keep you average. You can't be comfortable and powerful at the same time. Every great man in history suffered. They all endured pain, sacrifice, and failure because pain is the price of greatness. If you avoid the struggle, you avoid the strength that comes with it. You must learn to love the discomfort to welcome the resistance. The gym burns, the grind exhausts, the work drains you. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. Every rep of pain builds a stronger version of you. Every struggle prepares you for the next level. Discipline isn't about feeling good. It's about doing what's required, no matter how it feels. Most people run from pain, but pain is the best teacher you'll ever have. It shows you where you're weak. It exposes your limits. It forces you to evolve. Comfort hides your flaws. Discomfort reveals them. And that's why you must seek it. If you don't challenge yourself daily, life will challenge you unexpectedly, and you'll lose. Comfort builds complacency, and complacency kills dreams. You were not born to live easy. You were born to live strong. The truth hurts. Comfort is an addiction. People get addicted to doing the minimum, to staying safe, to avoiding risk. They tell themselves they're fine, but deep down, they know they're not. They feel that burning inside, the voice that whispers, "You're meant for more." But comfort silences that voice. It numbs your hunger. It makes you forget who you really are. You don't need more comfort. You need more courage. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you reclaim a piece of your power. There's no glory in easy things. The man who lives comfortably dies forgotten. The man who lives uncomfortably becomes a legend. Pain is temporary, but the pride of pushing through lasts forever. Every moment you choose discomfort, you build respect for yourself. You look in the mirror and know you're not like the rest. You're a warrior, not a wanderer. Comfort is the cage that keeps average men safe. Break it, step into the unknown, struggle, bleed, fight, because that's where greatness is born. Comfort might feel good for a moment, but discipline will feel better for a lifetime. The mind is your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. Most men lose not because the world defeats them, but because their own mind does. You can have all the talent, all the potential, all the ambition in the world. But if your mind isn't disciplined, you'll destroy yourself. Control your mind and you control everything. Lose control of your thoughts and you'll be controlled by everything around you. Your emotions, your fears, your distractions, your laziness, they'll run your life like a weak master commands a slave. The first battle every man must win is the battle inside his own head. Weak men let their emotions lead them. They let anger, sadness, fear, and doubt dictate every decision. They wake up and immediately surrender to distraction. Their mind becomes a battlefield, and they lose because they never trained for it. But strong men, they command their thoughts. They don't let their mind wander. They tell it where to go. They don't react to life. They respond with power. The man who has control over his mind cannot be broken because he decides what things mean to him. You can't break a man who has chosen his mindset. You must understand that your mind creates your reality. Every thought you repeat becomes a belief. Every belief shapes your behavior, and every behavior builds your destiny. If you constantly tell yourself you're tired, you will be. If you keep saying you can't, you won't. The mind doesn't know the difference between truth and lie. It believes what you tell it. That's why discipline begins in the mind. You must train your thoughts the same way you train your body daily, deliberately, relentlessly. Every morning you have two voices in your head. One tells you to stay comfortable. The other tells you to rise. Most men listen to the weak one because it's easier. The strong voice demands effort. It demands sacrifice. It demands control. When you learn to silence the weak voice and amplify the strong one, you take full command of your destiny. That's mental dominance, doing what's right, not what's easy. That's the difference between ordinary and exceptional. Your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions shape your actions. If you can control your thoughts, you can control your feelings. You can walk through chaos calm. You can face pain with purpose. You can lose and still stay composed. That's real power. Not the ability to control others, but the ability to control yourself. The man who controls his mind doesn't react, he calculates. He doesn't panic, he plans. He doesn't complain, he adapts. Life bends for those who master themselves. Discipline is mental warfare. Every day, your mind will try to negotiate. It will tell you to rest, to skip, to relax, to quit. You have to recognize that voice as the enemy. You must crush it every single day until it no longer has power over you. Because once you let it win once, it grows stronger. But every time you say no, every time you act despite fear or fatigue, you reclaim your power. You teach your mind that you are in charge. That's how champions are built, through relentless mental control. The truth is, the world is full of distractions designed to break your focus. Social media, entertainment, comfort, noise. If you can't control your attention, you'll never control your outcome. Focus is the currency of success. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. When you master your focus, your emotions and your reactions, nothing can touch you. You become unshakable. You become dangerous. You become free. Control your mind and you control your life. Every thought you conquer becomes another weapon in your arsenal. Every distraction you eliminate brings you closer to your vision. The man who masters his mind becomes the architect of his reality. He doesn't chase peace, he creates it. He doesn't seek power, he becomes it. People think freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want. They think it's about no rules, no structure, no limits. But that's not freedom. That's chaos. Real freedom doesn't come from doing what you want. It comes from doing what you must. Discipline is the highest form of freedom because it gives you control over yourself, your time, and your future. Without discipline, you become a slave to your emotions, to your laziness, to your distractions. Every man who lacks discipline is chained not by others, but by his own weakness. When you're disciplined, you don't rely on anyone to make you act. You don't need motivation, approval, or external pressure. You move because you decide to. That's power. Freedom is waking up early not because someone told you to, but because you promised yourself greatness. Freedom is sticking to your plan when everyone else quits. Freedom is saying no to temptation because you're focused on something bigger. Most people will never experience that level of control because they think freedom is comfort. But comfort is the cage. Discipline is the key that unlocks it. Think about it. The man who eats whatever he wants isn't free. He's a prisoner to his cravings. The man who spends recklessly isn't free. He's trapped by his debt. The man who can't say no to distraction isn't free. He's enslaved by his impulses. But the man who is disciplined, he owns his life. He can control his urges, his time, his habits, his destiny. That's the real definition of freedom. When nothing controls you but you. The disciplined man can live how he wants because he's earned that right through sacrifice and self-control. Discipline gives you structure, and structure gives you peace. Most people live chaotic lives because they have no structure. They wake up late, they rush, they react to everything. Their day owns them. But a disciplined man owns his day. He decides what happens when it happens and how it happens. He's not controlled by time. He controls time. He's not chasing life. He's leading it. That's freedom on another level. The kind of freedom only the disciplined understand. You can't build a strong body without discipline. You can't build a business, a mindset, or a future without discipline. Every result worth having is born from structure. Every ounce of freedom is paid for by consistency. People look at successful men and think they're lucky. They're not. They're disciplined. They sacrificed short-term pleasure for long-term power. They traded nights of laziness for mornings of purpose. They built systems that protect their goals. And because of that, they move through life freely while others drown in their excuses. Freedom without discipline is self-destruction. You can't give an undisciplined man total freedom. He'll ruin himself. He'll waste time, lose focus, destroy his health, and blame everyone but himself. But give a disciplined man freedom and he'll build empires. Because discipline teaches you how to use freedom, not abuse it. Discipline gives you direction, and direction gives you purpose. Once you live with purpose, you'll never crave the fake freedom that comes from laziness or comfort. When you master discipline, you don't need anyone to push you. You become self-powered. You become your own boss, your own motivator, your own leader. You don't fear failure because you've built the habits to overcome it. You don't fear the unknown because your consistency makes you ready for anything. That's the ultimate freedom, the ability to trust yourself completely. Discipline gives you that. It frees you from fear, from doubt, from chaos. It makes you untouchable. Remember this, every rule you live by builds a level of freedom. Every sacrifice you make gives you more control. Discipline is not a prison, it's the blueprint for liberation. It's the force that turns ordinary men into legends. You can live like everyone else, comfortable, distracted, and trapped, or you can live disciplined and free. The choice is yours. Discipline isn't about limits, it's about power. And once you master it, no one can ever control you again. You say you want freedom, then earn it. Freedom isn't found in comfort, it's forged in consistency, pain, and self-control. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you take back your power. Every time you show up when it hurts, you become stronger than yesterday. The world doesn't respect talkers, it respects men who do. You can live weak or you can live free. But you can't do both.